Hey y'all, it's your girl Morgan here.
And it's the one and only Kiara Simone. And you are tuned into At the End of the Day, where we say our opinion on the crazy stories in the headlines today.
Welcome to our very first episode, and let's go ahead and get into it. So, as we all know, award season is starting to wrap up. We had the Grammys last weekend, which caused a ton of controversy with the people who did win, didn't win, and the people that were nominated. And now, as the Academy Award is getting ready to roll off this weekend, a lot of people are still angry about these awards. So,
Okay. So let's get into the show. So why was award season important at one time, and what does the awards mean? I feel like in this point in the game, award season is really pointless because
Really?
it used to be award season used to be something that people used to look forward to, and then now it feels like a popularity contest. Some people don't feel like it's actual talent. Some people feel that like something like the Grammys, how Cardi B won instead of like other people in the category. They felt like it's really just a popularity contest, and then instead of actually seeing talent. Although I do feel like Cardi is extremely deserving of all the awards she got, because you got to think about where she came from and then where she at now.
it's crazy to think about where she was doing 2 years ago.
Like my
versus
sister
today.
was like a whole loving hip hop star. I'm talking about fighting, throwing shoes, and like she got a Pepsi commercial and she is a superstar. But I feel like people go back on that a lot. To be like, oh, she's not deserving of it because she's this and she's that and she's ratchet and she does this and she does that. But in my opinion, I feel like she's extremely deserving of everything she got.
I think she is too, but as far as like the Grammy she won for Best Album, I feel like she should have won for Song of the Year because I Like It was played on every single radio station. It was an interlude on the gospel radio station. They played it on pop radio. They played it on hip hop radio. They played it on Latin radio. They played it everywhere. And like, even though Childish Gambino, This Is America, the video was really, really good. It really caused a good conversation. It shouldn't have run Record of the Year because
I feel like with the whole This Is America situation, like you said, the video was good, but I feel like nobody was talking about This Is America until the video came out. Nobody was talking about This Is America with the actual song, because if you listen to it,
that ain't something you listen to.
that ain't something you listen to, and it's the song really doesn't talk about a lot. The video is what made the song pop. The visual effect of that song really is what made that song. So Record of the Year, no, it's not deserving of Record of the Year. I don't know.
Yeah. It should have been Video of the Year, for sure.
Okay, so my question is, how do you feel about the whole Cardi B Mac Miller situation where they fly his parents out?
That got me so mad because it's like, you're like, okay, we're going to film a little video tribute for him, and if he wins, we'll play it. So you fly them out, and this man does not win one award. So you have all this hope, and they're like, yeah, we finna see our son. This is the last award he could win, and y'all really gave him this false hope. That was so rude.
That was... But you know, the Grammys a little shady anyway. If you look at all the past stuff that they've been doing, the Grammys have been shady since day one. The Grammys have always been shady. So.
They do horrible things to artists. Like, for example, Ariana Grande, she was like, she didn't want to perform because the Grammys, they don't let artists pick what songs they're going to perform. Unless you're like a big name. Like Beyonce is probably like one of the only people they let her do that a few years ago. But they don't let people perform what they want to perform. They wanted her to perform, what's the song?
Thank you.
Next. They wanted her to perform that, but she wanted to perform Seven Rings, and they were just like, no. And they're like, oh, she felt like she couldn't put something on. So they like to blackball people, and it's gotten to the point where people are like, you know what, you need us, we don't need you. People are listening to our music, we don't need you.
I mean, because as an artist, it's you know, we live in a time where artists can really do so much on their own. As long as you have the money, it's so much an artist can do on their own. Record labels are really like starting to dissolve, if you really think about it. So I feel like as the record labels start to dissolve, is the Grammy starting to dissolve?
Yes. Because back in the day, the reason why everybody wanted to win a Grammy or perform at the Grammys because you got more airplay on the radio, and then more people want to go to your concert because they're like, oh, this person just won a Grammy. I want to go see their concert. Versus nowadays, they have all these different streaming services. I don't have to go to the radio to get streams.
At all. And then let's also, I'm a big Twitter head, so let's think about all the people who have not won Grammys that are top tier artists.
Tupac,
Biggie, J. Cole, Nicki Minaj. I don't know about Nicki.
I still like Nicki. I think some people, they're just like, they see Cardi B and they're just like, okay, Nicki, I hate you. Because they're just looking for somebody to just be
Picky.
picky.
That's all that is.
And there's so many great female artists out there, and it's just like there can only be one.
There can only. And it's sad that it has to be like.
Mhm.
It's sad it has to be like that.
People try to do Beyonce and Rihanna like that, but Rihanna's in her own lane. Ooh, that's something else I really want to talk about. Rihanna, she's about to start her own line.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for that because people are like, oh, high-end fashion is so picky,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So you have like Givenchy,
Mhm.
Prada, Gucci. People are like, I'm still going to buy that. But over the past few weeks, they've been falling off.
This racially charged stuff. But let's get back into the awards. We're gonna do a whole nother show on that, okay? So let's get into the decline of award shows. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like like I stated before, do you feel like award shows are actually needed at this point in time?
At this point, the notoriety comes from like people paying attention to you, having people play your music, people come to your concerts, having people walk up to you and say, you changed my life. Because at this point, it's like you don't have to go to these big stages.
Mm-mm.
The stages are coming to you. They're asking for these people to come perform. And so they'll sit there and they're just like, who was it last year? No, Lemonade, 2016 Lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
Lemonade was nominated. Drake got nominated. Bruno Mars, I think. Was it Bruno? I know a guy won over. No, Adele won over Beyonce in 2016.
Okay.
But they kept on like pushing it like, oh, Beyonce's gonna win. Beyonce's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
And so people, they sat there and they tuned in. People have not watched since. It's been on a steady, sharp decline.
You know, the Beehive is strong. But at
Mhm.
this point in the game, do we really feel like award shows are actually about talent, or is it just like a popularity contest at this point? Because if you look at the people who've been nominated and the people who haven't, and another thing people don't realize about the award show is you actually have to submit your work to actually even be nominated for the Grammys. That's nothing people don't know. You have to submit your work.
It's a lot of paperwork.
It's a lot of paperwork that goes behind actually being nominated for a Grammy, and the Academy has to actually consider you before you can actually be nominated. So I feel like people also don't know that little chunk. And you have to think about the artists who just genuinely don't care for the awards. Like you have artists like J. Cole who could care less about awards because J. Cole has a strong, like his fan base is so strong, and people like
double platinum with no features.
Like people be forgetting that. And I feel like with that, people don't realize like you have to actually like submit your work in order to be even nominated, and then your work has to come out within a certain time frame. I think it's like
it's like a year, all the way up to September 30th.
Yes, it's like what, January to September 30th to even be considered for a Grammy. Then you have to submit your work, and then the Academy has to go in, do the nominees, and then that's how they figure out who can get the Grammy and who can't get the Grammy.
And they change the policy every few years because women, they're like, it's on like a score. So if you're, for album of the year, if you have like a certain score, it's like, okay, you're going to be considered versus popularity. But one example is like Taylor Swift, when she won over Kendrick Lamar, her commercial rating was way lower than for To Pimp a Butterfly. It was far lower. He had like a 98 for his score. And so people were just like, so y'all flip-flop? Because Lemonade was more Beyonce by Beyonce was more popular than Beck. And Beck won over her. But he won because his score was way higher than hers. So it's like y'all flip-flop every few years. Yes. So y'all lying. That politics behind how to win a Grammy changes every few years. And it's gotten people to the point of like, forget y'all. Screw y'all.
Okay, so let's move from music. Let's talk about a couple movies. The Academy Awards, that's come on next weekend or this weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend. So let's get into the Academy Awards because I know that is another big
Have you ever watched?
I like movies, but I don't like movies. But I do tend to, instead of me watching it, I do go back and look at the list of nominees and actual people who've won.
I look at the outfits, to be honest. Red carpet's over, I'm turning it off.
Red carpet, yeah. Red carpet is a whole nother topic within itself. But with the Academy Awards, so who do you think is going to win this year?
Best Picture, I really feel like Black Panther is probably going to win because its effect on society this whole year.
So I have a question for you with Black Panther. Do you think Black Panther will win because it's a good movie, or do you think Black Panther will win because of the clout that we as Black people gave it? Because I've seen Black Panther 4 times, so.
Same. Honestly, that's like either or because it was a very good movie.
It was. It was a, like, graphically, it was a good movie. But do you think Black Panther will win because it's Black Panther or because we as black people made it what it was?
I'm gonna go with the black people made it what it was because the ratings are going down. Superhero movies have never been nominated at the Academy. You have people who love superhero movies watching the Academy to see if they're going to win. Then you have black people sitting there watching. You know, if Black Panther doesn't win, Twitter is going to go off.
Black Twitter.
They're going to go off. They're going to drag them through the mud. And they're going to feel like, oh, you did this so we watch. Y'all know this by now. It's a whole game with them. They're like, okay, this is how we're going to draw viewers. Nominate them. They're not going to win. They're going to get mad. And then they're going to say, we're going to boycott. Or we're going to do something different next year. That's how it always is.
So, who else is nominated for Best Picture besides Black Panther?
There was another movie with Regina King in it. If Beale Street Could Talk.
If Beale Street Could Talk!
I haven't seen it, but it looks good.
I saw the trailer for If Beale Street Could Talk, and it looks like a very intriguing love story. I really feel like. So, it's a lot. It seems like it's a lot of, you know, melanin popping. It seems like it's a lot of melanin at the Academy Awards this year, you know. The black people ain't into that popping, but that's whatever.
But honestly, they need to change who's voting because some of these movies, I'm like, who went and saw that? When did that come out?
But you know, they did say a lot of people who work for the Academy,
they're like 65.
They're like old people, like who like they're like old white people, and I feel like is an old white person really gonna nominate Black Panther? I mean, really gonna like ask Black Panther of all things to like win. So that's
so it's Bohemian Rhapsody, Black Panther, The Favorite, Black Klansman. What? They really nominated that? Do you like it? I haven't seen it. I need to go watch movies. And okay, I don't know the rest of them,
But I think since you said Bohemian, it's gonna be between probably Bohemian Rhapsody and because that was a big movie. Like it was a big movie. I am a fan of Queen. Yes, that is a great song. If you've never heard Bohemian Rhapsody, it's like 8 minutes long and it changes chords throughout the entire song if you care. But it's gonna be probably more than likely between that and Black Panther. Period. I don't think nothing else.
That movie had a big following.
That movie had a big following.
So either way, they're going to drag in those viewers.
Okay, so let's talk about publicly fighting artists.
So the Grammys and the Academy have both had a history of artists fighting them publicly or them fighting artists publicly. One thing that really came to light last year that a lot of us in our generation don't really realize is like Janet Jackson, she got blackballed by the Grammys. The man that was CEO of CBS, the channel where the Grammys always comes on, he blackballed Janet Jackson because apparently he wanted her to do something and she didn't do it. And so he was just like, forget her. And he messed up her entire career. And that came out last year. That man lost his job. So the politics behind the actual recording academy /academy, it's very crucial to being an artist and an actor or actress that you don't do stuff. You have to like tiptoe around them. Like, I can't make these people mad. They're going to ruin my entire career. I won't be able to do anything ever again.
And what I really like about, and people always try to come at artists artists, how can I say this? They always try to come at our generation of artists because I feel like our generation of artists are artists who are actually speaking out against stuff like this. Because I feel like a lot of artists our age are trying to speak out against the industry like, no, they've been doing this for this long, they've been doing that for that long. And it's like, they're not going to stay quiet anymore about the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. People don't realize the music industry is a very cutthroat, dog-eat-dog, stab you in the back type of industry. And it comes with whatever, I mean, that's with whatever you do. But they say the music industry is very crucial.
That's why we always see people, they die really young, they get hooked on drugs because the music labels, they take all their money. You're like 16 and they're like, hey, look at all this money.
You know, they like to dangle money in front of you, and people don't realize like people are not going. People realize that this is not the 80s. This is not the 90s. We don't have to do this. Social, people try to make social media like it's such a bad thing, but social media has really brought a lot of stuff to life. To light, not life, light, and showing us what